Dr. Kavita Ralphs stared at her screen, noticing her hands trembling. The data stream from the Allen telescope array was different than usual. The message sent to 3 Atlas 3 days ago. Could it have been answered? Call the coordinator, she told her assistant. Her voice cracked, because the signal wasn't just noise. It was a loop, and it was repeating every 4 hours exactly. August 2025. An anomaly. Detected. August 6, 2025, seemed like just another ordinary day. The James Webb Space Telescope was conducting its routine scans that morning. Target 3I Atlas, only the third detected interstellar object. This mysterious visitor coming after. Oumuamua and Borisov was already attracting attention with its strange characteristics. But what happened that morning was something nobody expected. James Webb's NIRSpec instrument measured the infrared light coming from 3I Atlas, and the result? 3 times brighter than normal. Could this be an error? The instrument team immediately began calibration checks. Solar flare contamination? No. Instrument malfunction? No. Everything was clean. Hey, everyone. Today I'm going to tell you about what might be the most controversial event in astronomy of the last century. But before we start, if you don't want to miss the mysteries of space and discoveries that push the boundaries of science, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. What I'm about to share in this video is an event that put many scientists' careers at risk, that NASA quietly archived and kept hidden from the public. Let's dive in. 3I Atlas was genuinely emitting 3 times more heat than expected. Dr. Lena Marovich, senior scientist on the Webb team, wrote in her initial report, "Emission is stable, coming from a central source. Not coma dispersion, but radiation from the nucleus. No outgassing model explains this. No flickering, no flare. Just steady from a single point. Like a beam source, archive data from Hubble and TESS were examined. 3I Atlas was already active when it was near Jupiter's orbit. Sunlight at this distance wasn't strong enough to affect the comet's ice, but it was still glowing. The optical teams noticed something else. The brightness was constant. Normal comets show brightness fluctuations as they rotate. Gas jets erupt from their surfaces, irregular vibrations occur. 3I Atlas had none of this, as if it were controlled. The rhythm within the signal in the deep analysis of Webb data. Something even stranger emerged. The infrared emission was slightly increasing and decreasing every 4 hours. It was like a pulse, like a heartbeat. But this rhythm matched neither the sunlight nor the object's rotation speed. Dr. Alina Marovich and her team put every possibility on the table. Surface geology? No. Solar effect? No. Rotation-based? No. The heat is coming from inside, Marovich said. And it has a pattern. Radio telescopes came online. From California to South Africa, facilities around the world began listening to 3I Atlas. The Allen telescope array, led by Dr. Kavita Ralphs, initiated wideband scanning, and a few nights later, they caught something, a narrow band signal. Weak, but there. A pulse repeating every 4 hours, not cosmic noise, in a very specific frequency band. And it followed the same pattern each time. Independent confirmations came from Meerkat and Effelsberg. The signal was real, and it was being detected worldwide. The decision to send a message, in mid-August, a quiet meeting was held. An anonymous coordinator from the SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Working Group, made a bold proposal. Let's send a message to 3I Atlas. The debate lasted for hours. Some voiced planetary security concerns. Others said this was a scientific opportunity. Votes were taken. Result: proceed. August 18, 2025, the message was sent. The content was simple but universal. Prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, the universal language of mathematics, periodic table, hydrogen, helium, carbon, the building blocks of chemistry. Fundamental physical constants. Speed of light, Planck constant, gravitational constant. The message was directed at 3 Atlas position at that moment. A one-way communication, a hello call. Nobody expected a response. Maybe nobody wanted to expect one. Hours later, the reply August 21st, 2025, Euro 4.05 UTC, the Allen Telescope Array's automated systems triggered an alarm. Dr. Kavita Ralphs called her team to an emergency meeting. The screens showed a familiar signal, but this time it was stronger. The narrow band signal from 3 Atlas had returned, but it hadn't just returned. Its timing was perfect, exactly 72 hours after the message was sent. Synchronized with the initial transmission window, down to the second. "This can't be coincidence," Ralph said. Her voice was shaking. Signal analyses began. It was a distorted wave, yes, but there was an order within it, a structure similar to the mathematical patterns that were sent. Fourier analysis was performed. The patterns seemed to respond to the prime number sequence that was sent. Scientists didn't know what to do. This was, for the first time in history, a potential response from another something. NASA's silence, and then the blackout began. NASA classified part of the data under planetary security protocols. ESA redirected communication channels to classified lines. The IAU, International Astronomical Union, convened an emergency panel. Throughout August, 4 main hypotheses were tested in discussions: outgassing bursts, natural comet activity, radioactive heating, internal core decay, dust scattering, optical illusion, mass estimation errors, incorrect measurements. However, all these hypotheses proved insufficient to explain the chain of anomalies. When the panel report was leaked, the conclusion was clear. Natural explanations do not account for the totality of observed phenomena. Atlas's strange chemistry, but it wasn't just about the signal. 3 Atlas's chemical composition was also completely abnormal. Spectral data from JWST and SphereX was shocking. CO2-H2O ratio 7.61 in a normal comet, water vapor dominates. But in 3 Atlas, carbon dioxide was 8 times more abundant. This indicated the object came from a very cold star system, perhaps from a region very far from its parent star. Even stranger, nickel was detected, but iron was absent. In solar system comets, nickel and iron always appear together. But in 3 Atlas there was no iron, only nickel. Nickel vapor was being released at a rate of 4.6 grams per second. Some theorists said this was the result of unique chemical conditions formed in another star system. Others proposed a bolder idea. What if this is an unnatural alloy? VLT's UV instrument found uncatalogued absorption lines, spectral traces that don't match any known element, features similar to quantum materials. "This resembles structures we see in theoretical physics papers," said Dr. Carrie Lease from Johns Hopkins, "but never observed in nature." The comet turning green in. September 2025, something else changed. 3 Atlas's color. The coma, initially reddish, suddenly turned bright green. This color change was very different from normal. Traditionally, green comets show diatomic carbon, C2, emission. They fluoresce at the 5 or 10 nanometer wavelength called the Swan band. But 3 Atlas had no C2, none at all. So where was this green coming from? Answer: atomic oxygen, CO2 molecules were being broken apart by solar UV rays, releasing free oxygen atoms. These atoms emitted green light at the 55-77 angstrom wavelength, called forbidden OI emission. But this process shouldn't be this intense at 3 Atlas's distance, U22AU. The sunlight wasn't strong enough. Yet the green brightness kept increasing. Dr. Lena Sato said, "It's like a chemical factory, taking inputs, producing outputs, and controlling the process." Mars approach and outbursts October 3, 2025 was a critical moment. 3 Atlas would pass Mars at just 30 million kilometer distance. Mars Reconnaissance Orbiteur, Mars Express, TGO, and Maven all locked their instruments on the object. And that night, something happened. It lost brightened 6 times in 48 hours. TESS. Hubble and telescopes worldwide saw the same sudden increase, not just in visible light but in thermal output too, as if something inside had turned on. At the same time, the orbit changed. ESA's orbit team member Marco Micheli recalculated repeatedly. 3I Atlas had shifted to a different route than expected. Outgassing didn't explain it. Neither was it a measurement error. This looks like a maneuver, Micheli said. For the first time, a comet seemed to be actively changing its course. The 72-hour event stack. Coincidence or connection? At the end of September, another series of events occurred, and statistically, this was nearly impossible. Between September 23 to 25, 2025, September 23, 02.12, UTC, star, V1935 Centauri went nova, naked eye visible brightness, September 24, 22 and 21, UTC, 6.2 magnitude earthquake in Venezuela, September 25th, so 3:51, UTC, second, 6.3 magnitude earthquake in the same region, September 25th, 04:05, UTC, star, V79994. Sagittari went nova September 25, midday. A CME, coronal mass ejection, from the Sun hit 3 Atlas's orbit. The probability of all these events occurring within 72 hours, less than 0.1%. Scientists called this an event stack. Statistically, such clustering is a 1 in 1,000 chance. Of course, correlation doesn't mean causation, but the timing being this precise raised many researchers' eyebrows. Sky traffic, 2025's extraordinary. Year 3 Atlas didn't come alone. 2025 became a record year for comet history. Between September-December 2025, a total of 7 major comets entered the inner solar system. C2022 N2 Pan-STARRS, C2025 R2 Swan, 414P Stereo C2025 K1 Atlas, 3 Atlas C2025 A6 Lemon, 240P Neat. This is the most intense comet traffic seen in the last 100 years. Normally, 2 to 3 bright comets arrive per year, but in 2025, 7 came in just 6 months. Probability, less than 0.5%. Some said this was due to advanced telescopes making more detections, but bright comets have always been visible. The issue isn't detection, it's the number. A threat to Earth? So do these objects pose a danger to Earth? Short answer. Nova 3I Atlas's closest approach to Earth was 1.8 AU. That's approximately 270 million kilometers. Even farther than Mars, but there might be a situation in 2026 to N-body. Simulations show that 3 Atlas's dust trail could intersect Earth's orbit in mid-2026. This means meteor showers, but not a destructive collision. If it happens, this would be the first interstellar dust, material from another star system, entering Earth's atmosphere and available for analysis. Radar campaigns and airborne observation plans are already being prepared. The scientific community's division today. The scientific community is divided on 3 Atlas. First group. This is unusual, but a natural object. The CO2 dominant structure is a result of different formation conditions in other star systems. Brightening and color change are from intense solar interaction. The signal is a coincidental pattern of cosmic noise. Second group. Natural processes can't explain this many anomalies together. Controlled brightenings, narrow band signals, chemical inconsistencies, and timed response. These bear engineering signatures. But nobody's saying anything definitive. 'Cause data is missing. The raw data locked by NASA and ESA isn't in researchers' hands. Conclusion. An open-ended mystery. Atlas's story isn't over yet. It reached perihelion, closest point to the Sun, in October 2025 and disappeared behind the solar glare. It will become visible again in November. Nobody knows what will happen until then. Will it fragment? Will it brighten more? Or will it quietly drift away and disappear? But one thing is certain. 3 Atlas has entered history as modern astronomy's most controversial object. So, what do you think? Is 3I Atlas a natural comet? Or is it hiding a deeper truth? Are the events within 72 hours coincidence? Or is there a connection? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Because 3I Atlas's story continues, and in the next episode, we'll share the new images from Mars orbiters with you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.